Hello, good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. I want to share with you briefly what I call mistakes that are costly in the construction business. Mistakes that are costly in the construction business. One of the toughest business to be in is construction business. It's difficult, it's tough, and the factors are many. Factors are many. A lot of people started, and they started without knowing some of the complications that are in the sector. I think that every business, every sector of the economy, every type of business, in every business, there are mistakes. There are things that are very challenging. There are things that easily wipe, businesses off quickly. And construction, the dangers are many. They are many. They are deliberate. They are dangerous, and if you don't understand them and you don't study them, they could easily take you out, especially in a part of the world. In a part of the world, and the mistakes are the things that you probably would have to endure for you to get to the place where you'll be able to build a business that you think you'll be proud of. So, some of the mistakes that you go through if you happen to start a business in the construction sector. You know, there are so many stories. Most contractors that we hear, at the peak of their industry, at the peak of their businesses, most of them give up. And some of them even die. They have big projects because construction sector, I said that just one project can make you hugely successful, and the same kind of huge project can easily destroy everything that you have ever built all your life. So it's one of the most difficult. Maybe the first 3 or 4 businesses that are very tough to succeed in construction will be bad. And the factors you need to know that in most construction companies, you don't get money every day. You spend a lot of money, but you don't get money every day. So cash flow is a major problem for a lot of construction companies. And how you get project to, there are all kind of complexities, all kind of delays, all kind of undercuttings for you to get project in construction industries. And how the funding is, you have to get a lot of money and put in one project, and if that money goes to lock, you are doomed. And the cost of funding is also very much high. So, and if you don't engineer the cost of funding well, by the time you finish the project, your whole business is gone. And it's not only with the financing, the kind of people that you work with. Construction workers they are not the kind of people who come to your office every day that you can train. And they don't have to have allegiance to your business. They're everywhere. So the mason, the carpenter, the plumber, the steel bender, even those who work on the machines, they are not. You just have a project and you just happen to employ them and work on the project. So they have been everywhere. It's the culture to build is tough, and they are one of the most difficult people to manage and to control. The engineer that you have who is working with you may have worked with a lot of people. It's very difficult for you to just build a company culture in a construction company that you think that you can so much depend on, because the factors are so many that you just sign a project contract with that man or with that woman, and they happen to just work with you for a year or for 2, and most of them will not even come to work with you again unless you have a project. So the mistakes are many, and you can win and win big, and you can lose and lose terribly, badly, dangerously. Sad. It's a sad situation if you lose, and if you're naive and if you didn't grow through the industry and you don't have the stamina, you don't have the strength to be in this kind of industry, it will be that much, because they also go out of business that quickly. Any little wind can get construction companies, off the scene without, So it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot to work in this kind of industry. And if you want to work with some kind of credibility, some kind of character, that takes the whole thing to a whole new level. Because people can give you project, and you just have to you just have to do what you have to do to get a project, and they can threaten you that, listen, you just have to play smart if you want the business, or we give it to another person. So there are a lot of things involved, and it makes the sector that much, you know, and the mistakes are many. The mistakes are many, especially when you start. And if you don't take care, you will just give up. You just give up. So my name is Kwabena. I want to share briefly with you some of the mistakes that you can make in a construction company. Construction company is a whole industry on its own. It's different from the other person with provision shop, who you are selling and getting money every day. It's different from the microfinance business that you have, or it's different from the insurance company that you have. It's a different industry. If I have a, say, fabrication company, I go to buy the wood or the metal, and you show me that, do this kind of cladding for me, or do this kind of work for me. I go to buy a lot of the money. It's work. It goes into a finished product that I just have to come and install. Just put it there and get paid. There's not much that is put in terms of the production itself, of maybe 60-70% of it is just, I go to buy the thing and I come to fix. Even though it's a construction company, or it's a construction industry, but if you are going to produce, let's say, produce a house, produce a road, it's a project that you are working on right from the ground, and you are going to go through all those things that they go through, and it's a project. You know, Building a house from the ground, there are so many complexities involved, and the mistakes can come in any form. So one of the mistakes that most construction companies, or most people in this kind of field make, is that they spend a lot of their time chasing bad businesses, bad projects, because they don't start with clear understanding of what it takes to build a construction company. Getting a project is entirely different from being able to build a construction company. Getting a project is entirely different. And so a lot of them, or a lot of us, just start with following projects. So you follow the projects, thinking that once you get a project, you have a business. And majority of us will spend our time trying to follow a lot of these projects from the government sector. And you know what it takes to get a project from the government sector. It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. The processes are many, and they are not clean, they're not clear, and a lot of them, demand a lot of expenditure. And so a typical government project will involve a tender. So they will publish the project. You go and buy the document, and then you will price the document, go through some kind of procurement processes. They will say that bring something, be security, which you go and use money to buy. And then, there are a lot of things before you even get the project already. And by the time you even have a complete document to tender, they'll be asking you tax clearance certificate. They'll be asking you, what again? Tax clearance, insurance, SNET, some, those things that they ask. And every bit of it, or every one of them, takes money. And the sad thing is that most of these open tender that they put in the newspaper, if you don't know at the moment the way the industry is, most of the projects have already gone out. Most of them. So they put it there. If you don't know, you'll just be chasing some of these things, and you'll be spending a lot of money, because you use money to take car to go and buy the tender. And then you go and get some big security, it's money. Then you go and renew all these certificates, it's money. Sometimes even the classification may be gone, you have to renew it. Sometimes you have to go and work on your financials. all kind of things, and it's all spending. It's all money that you're spending. If one of the major mistakes that you make, if you are in this kind of sector, is for you to be chasing these things, which you may never win, because most of them are given to people that they know. I'm just trying to be frank with you. So if you want to be in this kind of industry, you would want to go from the other side. You will not want to go and chase a lot of these things that they have. It's just a show. Most of them just follow procedures. The project is already gone. So you can spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources trying to chase bad projects, bad businesses, and you could, by the time you see it, you have spent 2-3 years chasing projects that you probably will never get. Or even if you get them, you have to compromise on a lot of values, on a lot of things, on a lot of your ethics to get a project. And you would have to virtually be subservient to some of these guys who work with most of these companies, or most of these government institutions. Because right from the consultant who will supervise the project, through the people who will pay you, you are just at the mercy of them. And so your confidence will be gone, and you will not be able to develop a skill. So chasing bad project could be one of those. So if you're in the industry and you want to really build a business than just following project to get money to buy some car, then you would want to be very much selective as to which kind of project that you follow, because a lot of it will waste your time. That's why you have a lot of contractors who are around 60, and you look at them and they have nothing, because they didn't follow the processes. They didn't think through. They thought that they were building businesses, but they were just chasing bad projects. And some of them, they have chased these projects for 30 years. Every now and then they have to go and beg and cry to some government official, some procurement boy somewhere, those kind of way that they have to do to get projects. And it's a sad situation. And I tell you, it's different from just building a business. So one of the best decisions that you could make is, how do I get projects if I'm going to build a construction company? How do I get the projects? And as long as you can, stay away from projects that you're going to spend a lot of money before you are even considered. It's not when you are even giving the contract, before you are even considered. When you're spending a lot of money buying tender documents, going to pay for a lot of base security, and going to do a lot of this certificates, this is waste of money. That is money that you can easily start another business with. And if you don't take care, every business, every one of the tender documents that you follow could cost you maybe 5,000, 10,000. If you don't take care, and somebody is doing good business, or somebody has been able to build a good business with just 1,000 cedis in an industry that did not demand a lot of this. And so, bad decision, bad projects that you follow. If you make the right decision to follow right projects, where to get projects where, you'll be able to cut and overcome some of these problems. So, and what I've seen is that people who really need contractors to work with, who pay attention to their work, they don't put a lot of these impediments, and most of them may not be with these government agencies. And so you have to have a unique way that the projects are going to come in, than wasting a lot of your time, by the promises, because a lot of people will promise you, I tell you. A lot of people will give you a lot. Everybody knows something, and it's in our culture anyway, where everybody knows some big man somewhere. And so you just have to decide to say that I'm not going to follow a lot of these kind of projects, and this is the way I'm going to get the project. And if you can stay out of trying to get favors, trying to buy favors, buy projects, they don't worth it. You may have money, but you may not have the character, and you may not have developed the expertise to build a strong construction company. And so there are a lot of stories of people who ever tried to build companies, but because they did not think through the approach, they wasted a lot of money, or they eventually became people who are that much corrupt and dishonest, because the only way that they could get projects would be to just go through some of these institutions, and a lot of them will just inflate the figures, and you have to see them behind. If you have courage and you have strength, you would want to just look and overlook that, and probably look at where you think you can get proper. So chasing a lot of bad businesses can waste. It could be one of your one of the mistakes that you ever regret, that you spend a lot of time trying to chase. And most often the chasing is because somebody told you that they are the boss, they will help you to get the project. And sometimes when you see young guys who just started and the passion that they have trying to chase all this, scrutinize. You don't have to be everywhere. You just have to have right decision to get the right project. And the people who really need people to work with, their things are different. They want somebody to work with. So they're looking for skill, they're looking for management, they're looking for a team, they're looking for expertise. And those kind of people, you would have to spend a lot of time trying to get to where they are, than just the obvious one like chasing the district assembly to get project, or chasing the municipal people to get project, or chasing the ministries to get projects, or even sometimes government schools and government hospitals. The dealings are so many. And most of the guys there, the engineers there and the procurement guys, most of them have their own companies that they give most of these projects to their brothers and sisters. So it could be, if you have the mind to build a business, I will say that decide to have a way where you will not follow a lot of these bad things, because following them can easily, a year will come and you have no business and you would have spent a lot of money, and it could be that much dangerous to your business and to your very survival as an entrepreneur. And the next one is spending a lot of money on certificates and permits. That's what I said. Let's say you want classification. It's a lot of money. They pay you. They take a lot of money from you every year, maybe 4,000, 5,000 for renewal. There's a lot of things that you may not want to spend a lot of money to get, because just it's a business you want to build, and part of it is money. But if every time you are just spending, you make a lot of mistakes, that the business will. That's why construction companies, actually, most of them die, and they die that fast. And not the next one that you can use to deal with some of the things that I mentioned above will be, one mistake will be not being able to build a strong marketing team to get you projects. You should be able to put a team together, if it's yourself, trying to build the expertise, build the skills to get projects that you can be proud of, projects that you didn't pay anybody to get, projects that you didn't spend a lot of money to get, projects that you will get out of your merit, even if it's out of competition, projects that are fair. The selection was fair, and you are not asking for favors, you are not begging people for it. You have to build a marketing team. You have to come up with a marketing strategy, sales strategy, to be getting into some of these things. You may have to think of maybe getting your own profile to be getting projects. I mean, whatever you have to do, but what you want to do is that you want to stay out of these areas that they take a lot of money, that will never come, that you compromise on yourself a lot. So if you're considering building a construction company, I would say look at some of these things, because if you don't take care, you'll find yourself in a very bad situation, and it could be for years before you even try to come back. Bad situation, and a lot of them get there and they never come back. And you don't want to look like that contractor who have worked for 30 years, and you look at him and he's tired and he's still going through some of these government institutions and giving all kind of money to just get a school building to do, or hospital, or some external works to do, and they are always paying all kind of money. You don't want to do that, because the industry is full of people who are crooks, and they prey on the greed, actually, of the contractors, on the desperations of the contractors. They know it. They are masterful. They know what to say to you to take the money from you. They know what to say to you to promise you that you will get a big project. They know what to do to keep your hopes very high. And what they don't know is that just as they are lying to you, they are also wasting your time and your energy, and they are draining you. But they don't care, so far as they can get what they want. So if you want to stop that kind of situation, you would want to just spend a lot of time trying to build a good team if I can go to places that really need the kind of services that you offer as a building contractor, as a building company, as a construction company. You would want to have that, and you have to develop the philosophy to say that myself, I don't want to deal with this kind of people, because really it is not worth it for you to spend your time building a business and somebody else has put a chain on your neck and they can pull you anywhere that they want, and you dare not challenge them, because if you challenge them, they will take the project from you. They will threaten you. They will say that you will never. No, and the people, they know. And it's not like they like you. It's not, no, they don't like you. They just like the money. And so you want to build a business. After all, you wanted to be in the business for yourself because you didn't want to take a lot of instructions from people anyway. Now you find yourself in another kind of situation where people are just tossing you around. You have to have a better approach to getting the projects without compromising on your, on your character, and without losing your freedom and your strength and your courage. So you can do that by at least looking at how you're going to get the job and looking at which industries are a bit more serious, a bit more ethical for you to get progress. And one of the things that you're also going to regret will be spending a lot of money on things that you didn't pay attention to. There are a lot of places that you spend a lot of money. Some contractors will just go and take a very big office and the project is not even ready. They don't have the project and they are buying cars. They don't have the project and they go for loan to all kind of showmanship. It will be a major mistake for you, because the project may not always come through. You could chase a project for 2 years, you could chase a project for 4 years, and somebody else at the end of it will change his mind. And so don't spend the money until the project is running and until the project is bringing its own money. So if your office is average and you can do a lot from that office, maximize there. Make the best use of the space that you have, and trying to just present a situation, because you think that when somebody comes to your office and is big, it means that they will give you big projects. I don't really believe in that, because if somebody has to see all the showmanship before they can give you big projects, I have some kind of questions with them. They would want to see your capacity. They would want to see the projects that you have done. They would want to see what you have done. That's what they want to see. They want to see probably your machines. They want to see your team. They want to talk to you and see the ways that you use, then the technical understanding that you have, the managerial understanding that you have, the leadership, how you handle the money. Those are the things that they would get the attention if they're genuine people who are looking for people like yourself to work with. If they just have to come and look at your Land Cruiser and your big office, you should be careful. You should be careful. So don't waste a lot of money, because one of it you will regret. When you start to get some money, don't just pay attention to where the bulk money is going, and that's worth it. Will the money come back? The other thing will be not starting with the right people. It will be a major mistake for you not starting with the right people. People who go and get the project and give it to another person. People who will not be there when things get tough. You would want to get people who really understand the industry, who want to be part of this kind of structure of business that you have. You just don't just bring anybody there because he's your friend, he's your classmate, he's your brother, he's your sister, kind of thing. Just get the right people who will be ready to push a lot to get the business going and to get the business built up. Okay, or later you regret that you spent a lot of years putting some of these guys there who did not bring any value at all. It could be a major mistake. It could be a major mistake that you don't want to make. The other thing will be not letting some of those people go early than you should have. When you happen to hire the wrong person, when you happen to have had somebody on the team who is just wasting money, you not being aware early enough, not being confident enough, early, for you to say that, listen, I don't think you can work here, go. Because so long as they are there, it's waste of time, waste of money, waste of resources. If you don't find it urgently enough and to let them go, you will regret, because being there, they're wasting your time, they're wasting your energy, and they're filling a space that somebody else could have come to fill and could have also brought in some kind of results. So look at that, not being able to let the people who didn't have to be there, don't not be able to let them go as quickly as you should have let them go. The other thing will be not knowing what brings in the income and how your income is going to come in. Cash flow, not knowing it, how the money comes, and how you structure payment on projects. At least let's assume that you have a good project now. How do you agree with the people? Are they going to pay you? When you raise certificate, how many days is it going to take for them to pay you? Is it going to take 4 months, 5 months, or is it going to take a week? The best is when you receive payment regularly. If you can get payment every 2 weeks, you'll be you'll be a happy man with your workers, with everybody, because then you get money. Because this kind of business consumes a lot of money, and so you put a lot of money in somebody's project, and he is taking his time to pay you every 3 months, every 4 months, or sometimes even a year. I know people who have worked with Get Fund, and for years they've not been paid. Everything that they built all their lives gone because of bad decision, because they didn't do the numbers right, because they didn't have full grasp of the industry. People who really have understanding of this kind of industry, they put all kind of clauses in the business, and they want to in the contract, and they want to have timelines. When I raise certificate for payment, when are you paying me? And if you're not paying me, I go to rent, I go to credit somebody, I'll go to take somebody's money. You are responsible for interest. There are a lot of things that they do to save them from collapsing the business. Now, majority of us, we don't know those things, or we didn't know them. And once we didn't know them, they took a lot of pressure. They brought a lot of pressure on us. And that's why most contractors fail. Most construction companies fail, or they go through years of perpetual financial difficulties and perpetual financial problems, because the industry calls for a lot of technical understanding, a lot of good understanding of finance, a lot of good management skill for you to see successes. So it's tough. It's tough for you to build a house, get a project, do it, and do it well. And so look at the income and how it is structured, the payment and how it is structured. If it's not structured well, you have to go back and look at it again, because along the line you will suffer. You will suffer. You will suffer. So don't confuse the cash flow with you getting money. The fact that they are paying you does not even mean that the project is profitable and you're going to get any profit at all. You could be getting money every week, every 2 weeks, and you'll still be losing on the project, because you don't know the profit until you are done with the project, and until you've been able to maintain some of the things that you have to maintain. Look at your materials, look at your labor expenditure, your machines and their maintenance. A lot of things are involved. And maybe the credit line that you're using, are you sure that you can maintain the cost on it? There are things that are involved. If you gloss over them, there will be major mistakes that will wipe you out of business. It will take you out just like that, and that's why most contractors just get out of business for no reason. The fact that you have a project does not mean that you're going to be successful as a contractor. There are things that you have got to understand, and one of it is you not confusing. You think that even if they are paying you small, you think that the project is good. You may finish and be owing big, and you would have put yourself in trouble. And the other thing is that you should not spend more than you have. Don't spend a lot of money if you don't have them. Don't spend a lot of money if you don't have them. There's no need to impress anybody. You have to be frugal on a project. If your decision to be frugal, look through the structure, monitor it. If you have an accountant, monitor him. If you have a bookkeeper, monitor him. Look through the things. Don't just leave them there and say that no, I trust them. Let's say people have their plans. You'll be spending 1 cedi and they'll be telling you that it's 50 cedis. They'll be paying people who didn't work. They'll be paying themselves double or triple. They'll be building houses when you are loaning. When you went for loan for a project, they will be building houses out of that. So follow it. It could be a major mistake, and sometimes some of these mistakes, when they hit you, it could be years before you find your feet again. So look through, because construction company building it. That's why they say that, oh, all the major construction companies are foreign owned. Why? Because it's not just because the projects are only given to them. Part of it is because they also come with a lot of understanding of the industry. Because some of them have been doing it for years, for centuries. So they come with a lot of wisdom, a lot of skill, not only with the project execution, but with the business of construction, with how construction business is built. They understand it. They negotiate well. They look at the numbers well. They can easily walk off on a project, even if they have started it, because they understand and they see the part and they see the danger in them. And your only reason that you're going to survive and grow is because you're able to overcome the mistakes. So your attention to identify the mistakes at the early stage will save you. Will save you. If you're not able to identify the mistakes, that is a threat to your very survival as a company. So don't follow the average understanding, the average way of doing, of running, of building a construction company. It's where you just have a friend who just gave you a project, and they gave you mobilization, and you gathered the boys to do it, and you said that you are building a construction company. That may have been the way that you got started, but that's a wrong way to start. You may have to correct that. You may have to correct that approach, or you've been in the industry for years and you never find your bearing. Because it can put you in bad shape. In a bad, difficult situation that you may find it very, you may even not know. You may never get up, again, because the industry is that complex. How the project is procured, how it is financed, how the project itself is executed, how you get paid. All these things are complexities, and every one of it stands on its own, that you would want to study them well, because your mistakes will come from one of them. Whether you didn't know how to procure the right product, the right project, or you didn't go through the right processes to get that kind of project. When you compromise on the processes and on the project quality, they will eventually catch up with you. And then if you didn't understand the financing of it, the complexities of the financing on it, either on your part or on the part of your client, and you just said that, oh, let's do it, they will show up before the project completes. They will show up, and it could be a very difficult mistake for you. The other thing will be how the project is executed. Do you have the engineering understanding of it? Do you have the strong team? Can you manage the team? Do you understand what you're going to do? All these things can put you in problem. All these things can put you in difficult situation. It could be a major mistake. And some people have been there, and the project got stalled, and everything is. They went to buy a lot of machines, they put it on the project, and now everybody else is in difficult financial situation because they got into a project that they had no business being on. The other thing could be how you get paid, because some of them you could go through all this. You had the procurement, you had the processes, you had the project procured, you had your finances right, you were able to do it well, and then it comes to the payment, and they are wasting your energy. The client may not even have the money to pay you, and now you can sleep. So don't just be happy because you have a project. A lot of people, I remember there was a time that this guy was in church and giving testimony to God that he had a project. Listen, when you have a project, it's a problem that you have got for yourself. So when they say, the way the people say that they gave me contract, giving you a contract does not mean that you'll be a blessing. A contract can come and destroy you. You can go to, there are a lot of people who had very nice life, good life, calm life. They were very much clean guys, collected, didn't want trouble, and then just one bad project came to their lives, and they became criminals. They destroy everything because of bad projects. So the fact that you have a project means nothing. That means nothing. What means something is that when you have been able to execute the project profitably in terms of money and to the satisfaction of your customer, without you compromising on a lot of things. And this goes beyond just getting a project and thanking God for it. Good, thank God for it. but you would have to ask God for more wisdom to be able to finish this project and not be in debt. We have done a lot of projects that we didn't make any money, and those projects brought us troubles. A lot of them. They brought us difficulties, they brought us troubles, they brought us challenges, they brought us disagreement among the team, they brought us debt, they brought us people insulting us, threatening us, and we were fine before the projects came in. And when the projects came and we made a lot of mistakes, damage control we had to do. Damage control we had to do. So please, look through and don't just bump into you starting a construction company or anything that looks like that. There's a lot of information that you have to understand. There are a lot of things that you have to study for you to build that kind of business and build it well, because it's not just that simple. That's why your uncle, who was contractor, could not leave the company for the son to continue. That's why your father, who was a contractor, ended up being taken care by your mother, who was selling tomato or something like that. Because construction company is not just because you chase your friend who was your schoolmate in a school somewhere and for him to give you a project. They don't mean anything. If you want to build a business out of it, there are a lot of things that you have to. And if you want to do it rightly, you have got to be patient. You have got to be strategic. You have got to have a team. You have got to think well. You have got to study the finances. You have got to be patient. You have got to make a lot of decisions rightly before you can build a construction company. Because you can also see some of them big, but the only reason that they are big is because they are being given some kind of projects that the revenue that they are making are not realistic revenue. It's a typical project that should cost the company 1 million, but because people are syndicating to surfing money from somewhere, they make it 3 million, and so they give the contractor 1.5 and they also take 1.5. Now realistically, that project should have cost the contractor maybe 1 million. And so the contractor should have worked with maybe 20% profit, which means that he would have had only 200,000 as profit. Now, because there were some kind of, undercuttings, the contractor ends up with maybe 1 million profit. And so it makes him behave like he understands business. But really, he doesn't. He's just being helped wrongly. He's just being given figures that his company was not able to make. And so a time will come that deal or those kind of deals may not come on board, and then you will see the rare strength of that contractor, and that's where the company starts to collapse. That's where a lot of bad things will start to happen, because he would not have built the required skill needed to handle a company that he all of this while has fooled himself to think that his company is worth that much, which that company may not have worth that much at all if he had been honest in his dealings. So look at that, because if you don't look, you will screw yourself. And there's no point trying to spend all your life building a business and trying to just be deceiving yourself all through. It's a common practice here, but you have to backtrack and go back and start to do the right thing and start to build it gradually. Even if you are not able to correct it 100%, you'll be able to be close to how a business is built and built well. Because nothing is worth building if you don't build it on right principles. And business is part of it. Nothing, whether it's a career, whether it's a family, whether it's marriage, whether it's a business, if you are building it, then the foundation must be right. And there is nothing that holds any foundation together more than integrity. And so the industry is full of people who offer things that will go against your integrity. If you train yourself enough, you'll be able to handle the situation and possibly stay out of some of these things, because they will eventually destroy you. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about some of the mistakes that you can make that will cost your construction company. And bad business chasing, following businesses that they are always asking you to pay money before they give you the business, is waste of time. Let some people do it. Some people always do it, no, but don't let it be you, especially if you want to build a business. And wasting a lot of money on things that you don't have to. There are people who want to give projects who will not be requesting of you to be going to go around and pay a lot of money to some of these government organizations before they give you a certificate and all that. There are a lot of businesses that you can contract, projects that you can get, because the people are looking for people who can do good work, and look at how you can also build a strong marketing team to get this kind of projects. Not doing that could be a major mistake for you. And then controlling your cost, and some of it may be not having the right people right from the beginning. That could be a mistake for you. And the other thing will be not letting the wrong people go as quickly as you should have let them go, because they stay around, it becomes toxic to the business, and you spend money on people who are not contributing anything, to the survival and to the success of your business. The other thing will be not knowing how the income comes to you. Just because you have a project does not mean that you have structured the income well. And because it's a bulk expenditure kind of business, if you don't have money coming in every now and then, you'll be a pauper every minute. You'll be a poor man, even though you have 10 million project that you're doing, even though you have 100 million project that you're doing. You still be poor because you didn't structure the cash coming in well. And so thank you. I would say thank you very much for watching. I hope you take some bit from it and see what you can use for it, because as Africans as we are, if there's one thing that we have to do is voraciously looking for knowledge that is productive. A lot of our people spend time acquiring information that is only for fun, that is not only going to create those kind of information that they pay a lot of attention to, are not building the future that they want. So if you have a construction company, or if you intend to build one, spend a lot of your time acquiring the information, acquiring the knowledge that will help you to build a business that you'll be proud of. And no need to equivocate, no need to compete with anybody. Just build the one that you want. And there are mistakes, and sometimes as much as we may want to ponder and think about them and things like that, but don't just look at them and use the ones and correct the ones that you can correct. But every business, every industry, all the people that you see build all those businesses, there are mistakes that they are never proud of, but they did not let them stop them from pursuing the dream of building a business. So don't let those things stop you from going forward and going for your dream. No matter how much damaging they may have been, you can still push forward, and you can still restart your business. You can still restart your dream. You don't have to give up on yourself. You don't have to have don't have to be alone and crying and weeping because you were not able to overcome some of these mistakes early, or you punish yourself so much why you didn't find some of these mistakes that were so much obvious. It's part of it. Every one of these guys that you hear, they all have made these kind of mistakes. So what is important is that what can you create out of these mistakes and become a better business person and build a stronger business. Because for them, by all means, if the mistake didn't come in another form, it will come in another form. So nobody wishes you well on those, but they will come. And so you just have to find a way of getting through this stage and getting to build your business. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you, and never let the mistakes stop you. Build your business and your dream beyond the mistakes, and feed yourself with the right knowledge, so that you can be positive and very much hopeful, and still be upgrading your skill and your expertise every now and then. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.